Oh, jeez. What a day. I've had a good day, really. Spent the day in Liverpool with a couple of friends. I haven't seen them in a good few years. Pat and Kathy. And you know, with time passing, I thought things might have changed a bit with them, but no, they were just the same. Pat came in first, toting a carrier bag full of toilet rolls. That's not changed. God knows what she does with them all, and she picks like a bird, Pat does. And then Kathy rolled up, literally, you know. We've been great friends for years. You know, we worked together for a long time and then stayed in touch. And then we kind of drifted apart. So that's why I got in touch. I thought we could all meet up and catch up. Anyway, Kathy comes in and she's full of her latest diet. She's been on diet since she was 16. And she's 70 next year and she's on this new diet. So she's telling me all about it and I'm doing the mms and the ahs in the right places, but I'm not really listening. I've heard it all before. And the thing about Kathy, which I suppose is quite funny really, she, every time she's on a diet, her husband's on a diet, whether he wants to be on a diet or not, you know. So, you know, eating disorders isn't in it. And I mentioned it a number of years ago. And both of Pat and Kathy denied it. You know, there was nothing wrong with their eating, they didn't have a problem with it and blah, blah, blah. And Kathy really took the huff with me, so I never mention it now. But she's still the same, the way she eats, you know, cramming it in, fork after fork, hardly chews it, and the next one's going in. But, you know, the husband, years ago, was round at hers, and the phone went, and I said, who was that? She said, it's Steve, he's just ringing up. I said, that's nice, does he ring every day? She said, yeah, he rings every day. So she said, he's only ringing to see what's for tea. So, you know, he's become involved with the food. You know, she diets all the time. And they're always watching these cookery programmes on TV and trying out all these new meals. And so it goes on. Anyway, Kathy finished first, as per usual, and she got herself off pretty sharpish. She had things to do. Pat stayed on a bit, so we were sitting there talking. Then Pat left, and I thought, why do I bother? You know, why do I bother? So anyway, I ordered another coffee, because I love to sit and people watch. This couple come in, and I thought, well, watch these two, they look interesting. Because he was quite tall and quite handsome, really. And she was a pretty little thing, very nervy. And he was very attentive, you know, taking her coat off, very touchy-feely. And I thought, so where's the smoothie? And she you know, she had her body language, she had a handbag, you know, clutched to her like this. And I thought, well, that's in defence for a start. She's a bit wary of this man. So he said, let's sit in the window. And he takes her elbow and propels her across and sits her in the window. You know, talk about being in charge. And then the waitress came over. And he said, shall I order? He didn't look up at her or anything. And then he just ordered the food. And she was quite uncomfortable, you know, sitting there. I could see that. So anyway, yeah, the meal come and the wine. And they'd met at a party that they'd both been to, and they knew the person that was throwing the party for years, and yet they'd never met up. And he'd obviously asked her out, and she'd said yes. So there they were, sitting in the cafe, you know, having some lunch. And she said, no wine for me, I've got to get back to work. Oh, one lone arm, he said. So he pours her the wine, and I thought, you know, pushy, very pushy. So he said to her, he said, if you give us your number, we can meet up later. I know this quaint oldie-wildy pub, you'll love it. And, you know, she got the courage from somewhere, and she said, no, you give me your number and I'll ring you. And I thought, oh, good on you. So anyway, he just left. He's oblivious to all her body language. He's just on a mission, this fella. So, you know, he gives her his number. And he presses it into her hand and he says, ring me. So she said, I'll have to go, the time's getting on, I've got to get back to work. He said, I'll get your coat. So off he went to get the coat. She looked up, she had this piece of paper and she rolled it into a ball, you know. And she just tossed it up under the table. Anyway, she looked over at me, so I smiled at her, and she smiled back. Anyway, he come back with the coat and she got her coat on and she left. And I was, you know, I was really cheered by the thought that he wouldn't see her again. I thought, good on you. And he sat there so smug, as if he'd made some kind of conquest. And at that point I left, you know. I was going to do a few other things, but I got outside and it was raining, so I ran for the train. Missed me connection this end, missed the bus. So I've ordered a taxi and I'm just waiting for that to come. But it's been a good day all in all, you know. Seen a few things and caught up with a few people. Well, there's the taxi now.